Hey everyone, this is Ed Kime, CEO over at Quantcha, and this is our April 5th update for 2015. We're going to go through a couple of the changes that we've made to the platform this week, as well as some of the minor improvements we're looking at. This should be a pretty quick update because we've been mostly heads down focused on the upcoming Benzinga FinTech Awards that are happening this week in New York. If you get a chance to stop by and visit us, we are in booth number 10, and we'll be able to demo some cool stuff and talk a bit about the future. And of course, as always, we love to get your feedback. If you happen to be in the area and you want to head in, go to benzingafintechAwards.com and get tickets. My understanding there's still some available. And, it's just a great opportunity to see a lot of the innovation that's going on in the industry. It's been a fairly light week in terms of front-end UI changes. We've done a little bit of work on the back end, trying to make things hum a little better. We're constantly optimizing and improving and looking for new ways to present data. But this week was about mostly just bug fixes and kind of getting things solid for the Benzinga event. We're excited to demo a bunch of the features and some of the things that I think that people might not realize that the platform can do. Admittedly, we do need to do a better job kind of promoting the features we have and some of the benefits, and so that's going to be a big focus over the next quarter. But I wanted to talk through a couple of other things. We did some minor tweaks and improvements. I won't really delve into those, but just know that every time you use the product, it's getting a little bit better, hopefully a little bit faster too. And of course, we're trying to make sure the mobile experience can keep pace with the desktop experience, which is a little bit harder than it sounds because we're trying to provide that consolidated one browser URL to head to wherever you happen to be using Quantcha from. We added a search box so you can search for option trades from anywhere within the user experience, as well as something called the CRSP performance. So now I'm going to bring over a browser window where I'm out. Basically, this is a local version of the app, but this is published already at Quantcha.com. It just happens to be what I have up and running. Let's start off talking about the CRSP performance. So this is actually an interesting thing here. You'll notice we have a few different historical items here, and we only go back to about 2 months. We'll probably be adding in a few more points. We've kind of debated back and forth whether or not there should be a chart here or if it should be just these bullets to say, like, here's the 1 week performance, the 2 week performance, and so on. We are definitely open to feedback, so please hit us up at hello@quantcha.com if you have any ideas. But right now, we're still kind of we're keeping it with just the numbers, as reference points. A lot of times people get too bogged down into the shape of curves and kind of start seeing patterns that might not be there. And so we really just focus on getting some key numbers so you can see the trending of it. But we are still, it's still kind of a debate that's going on. But a key thing I wanted to point out here is that you may notice that the numbers don't match up exactly to what you might see on stock sites because these performance numbers aren't exactly quotes. There's a slight thing here, and we use the CRSP methodology, and this basically adjusts the value. Now, of course, anywhere you go to, you're going to see adjustments for stock splits. That's pretty normal. But this also accounts for dividends, and the dividend adjustment is pretty important when it comes to investing, but of course also in option investing because if you've got a stock today, let's say, and I'm going to head back over to Quantcha, let's say the stock Microsoft's trading at $40.29 today, and then they give out a $1 dividend tomorrow. Well, the stock's probably going to drop to, 39.29 and probably move up or down based on that. But then if the stock rallies and it moves up and it closes at 40.29 after giving out that dollar dividend, that's actually a pretty good day. That's like, a 2.5% movement upward. But if you just go by the pure stock price, that is a zero. That's a flat day. Or if the stock closes at 39.29, it looks like the stock lost value, when in reality the dividend was taken out, but the stock's performance itself hasn't really changed. So that's just one minor thing we wanted to point out here is as a kind of an advantageous way to look at the data. And if we go with the chart route, we'll keep that as well. In my opinion, it's much better than taking a look at just the raw values that are only split adjusted. The second thing to point out is this search box up here. So let's say we go in somewhere and we're looking at some Microsoft trades. We see these ideas and wherever they happen to be, and we take a look at the chart and we decide, I want to see what, let's say, Cisco's up to. You can simply type that in here, and now you're at that, basically at that view, and you can jump in and start doing your searches and whatever you want from this part of the UI. It's kind of a minor thing, but this has been a feature that I've personally wanted for a long time, and we finally got around to putting it in place, but on mobile. because sometimes on mobile you don't really want to hop around so much. You just want to grab where you're at, type it in. And one of the key features, besides having a nice flat design that's very simple and not being too cluttered and kind of making use of white space, is we also want the ability to reduce the amount of friction to get from one point in the application to another. And so that's just a nice little step and a way to do that. So back into the slides. One other thing to talk about here is a new trade scanner we have as part of our automated service that focuses on StockTwits changes in sentiment. So when we see that there's been a significant, or rather, in not so much the sentiment, but the trending. So when something is trending on StockTwits, we're able to kind of take a look in and understand where the sentiment's going, and then be able to propose a trade that's based on that. And sometimes stocks can change pretty quickly up or down based on news that's going on, and the sentiment's usually a pretty good indicator of the direction of the stock for a lot of stocks that trade on sentiment. And I'll bring in one. I mean, one example we have here, and this is just more to show what the idea looks like, is IBM. Now, IBM, of course, doesn't necessarily trade on purely on sentiment, but the format of the idea is basically identifying a trending stock. At the time, IBM, there was some discussion, and there was some. The IBM had a lot of negative discussion going on over at StockTwits, and so we kind of identified that, and the system was able to take a look at that, recognize the negative sentiment, and then be able to propose a trade that, if the stock were to go bullish based on the current implied range, and basically offer you an idea of a way to approach it. At the time, it was a moderately negative. Sometimes they're significantly negative, or of course positive, which would drive either bearish or bullish strategies. And we give you some idea of the nature of the trade and some of the returns that were expected at the time it was done, which was about a quarter after 1 on Friday. And so you can then also, of course, play with the ideas with any of our trade ideas. So you can come in and say, for example, if you have a different budget, let's say you were looking to potentially invest, let's say $10,000, and you used Fidelity as your brokerage, you could apply that and then be able to see what the specific leg should come out to be, and that. And of course, if you were using Tradier, what you'd be able to get is a place trade button to jump right out into your Tradier account and be able to get started immediately. So that's a quick update for today, for this week, and thank you very much for all the feedback we've been getting. As always, any questions or any other ideas, please hit us up at hello@quantcha.com, and good luck trading.